Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. We're having a conversation today with David Carrington. He's one of our Jefferson County commissioners, and we're talking about the state of Jefferson County, primarily from an economic standpoint. It's not as bleak as some people might wish. As a matter of fact, it sounds like it's on the progressive, moving forward side of things.
You know, I'm not concerned with us recruiting companies to Jefferson County. I think we're an easy sell. I'm more concerned with the workforce. And that's a challenge we're going to face. You know, only 32% of the jobs require a college degree. Yet our school system is sort of targeted to get young people to go to college.
Yeah, I think things have changed.
Well, they're changing.
Yeah.
You know, well, they changed over the years because when I went to high school, we actually talked about the trades, and we had shop, and we were developing skills. And in Houston, many of my friends went to work in the oil industry, the petrochemical industry, the construction industry, and we sort of got away from that. But when you have 32% of the jobs requiring a college degree, we need to focus on the other 68% of our young adults and not throw them away. So the importance of post-high school graduation is really important. One of the companies that I mentioned to you that pays extremely well, Camtech, I asked what their requirements were for their entry-level jobs. High school degree, pass a drug test, and show up for work. Well, you know, and
seems pretty basic, right?
Seems pretty basic, but somehow that message isn't getting into the, and I think you've got to start it at the middle schools. It's not at the high schools. So I think the larger challenge facing the state and the country, and then Jefferson County, is having the workforce to be able to fill the jobs that we're already recruiting.
You know, speaking of that, when I was coming up as the grandchild of Sicilian immigrants, my parents never went to college, but sending your kid to college was what you did.
Right.
I now question the wisdom of the time that is spent educating this 30% number of our youth for 5-6 years that it takes them to get through college. 4 years is sort of rare these days. If an individual were to expend 4, 5, 6 years developing a trade, they wouldn't be better off after that length of time than they would be if they got their college degree.
You know, I in certain speeches, we're talking about workforce, and I say one of our major challenges is managing mama's expectations.
Oh, boy.
Mama expected you to go to college. She was telling you were going to college from when you were in first grade or kindergarten or whatever. Story of two sons. One son was very, very smart, not that the other one wasn't smart, but he was more book smart. He was more studious. And so he got in the University of Alabama. And then he got to go to the University of Alabama Law School. And he left school with $150,000 worth of debt. In Jefferson County, he makes about $68,000 a year on average as a lawyer. And he's always hustling for business. The other son didn't want to go to college. So he went for a plumber's apprenticeship. Mm-hmm. Now, look at him the same year. He's making $80,000 a year.
No debt.
He's got more business than he can shake a stick at. He has no debt, a bass boat, and a house. And so we've got to tell, and I think it starts with mamas. We've got to share the message that there's more than one way for your son or daughter to be very successful financially in life.
And happy.
And happy.
But I mentioned at break about buses. Invariably, I see a bus going down 280, big old bus, mm-hmm. and there's nobody in it. Mm-hmm. Can't we get smaller buses? Can we get those little vans? I mean, what is the status of our transportation? We struggled to get Uber in town. We got them. Now we're talking about having another alternative, Lyft, coming to town. Talk to us about transportation a little bit.
Well, it's surely a challenge for our economic development efforts, because when we're trying to get young people from one side of town to another side of town where there's a job, you know, we don't have a good vehicle to do that. I guess that's pun intended or pun not intended. As a part of our refinancing the debt, which Amendment 14 will hopefully clear, we're going to put $2 million a year in upgrading our system. and that will be matched with federal dollars. They'll give us 80% for our 20%. So that'll be about $10 million a year. I've advocated exactly what you are. When you go through France, buses might be 18 or 20 passenger buses running on liquefied natural gas, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to, in my opinion, I'm not in the bus industry, we've got to downsize and increase the number.
I hear there's some federal regulation out there that require you to have that big of a bus.
I don't know. You need to talk to someone else on that.
About that issue.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, my job is to ask questions.
Well, that's
not necessarily get answers.
That's my job right here today.
Right here today. You're the question guy. But as an elected official, I think I'd do a lot better if I ask, what would happen if, instead of why we can't do it.
280 is a big issue.
Yeah, but 280, I will tell you, I didn't give much hope for solving that problem. But Mr. Cooper, the new solution, it's made 280 a lot better. It takes you a while to get on, but once you're on, from my part, you go fairly quickly to downtown.
I think it has improved transportation coming and going. But you had to, we're all creatures of habit. And so you have to develop the habits to deal with U-turns and know you're not going to be able to turn left where you've always turned left.
Right.
We're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask you the question that everyone is clinging to know the answer to. All right? So don't leave me. I want you to think about what it might be.
Okay.
This is Our Issues Birmingham. I'm Tommy Spina. David Carrington is our guest. He's about to answer the $64,000 question, perhaps.